Hi there everyone, Dave here from HeyUGuys. I am joined by the amazing Zehra Phelan,
Hello.
the awesome Scott J. Davis,
Hello.
and all the way from Russia, Stefanovic Papovich.
Hello.
I deserve to clap. And today we will be talking
That's all I
about...
can say in Russian.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the whole thing now needs to be in Russian. Oh, and for your fan on YouTube, Stefan is not actually Russian. He is
Sutton.
from London. And
West London.
I'm so tired.
But I do like Russia, so
But he's a big fan of Russia. Today we will be talking about The Mummy, Tom Cruise's new big Universal Studios movie. Stefan, as always, take it away.
yeah, cool. Cool. Tom Cruise is in this movie, plays Nick Morton, who's a kind of a soldier, an opportunist soldier who is alongside his kind of sidekick Chris Vale, played by Jake Johnson, in the Middle East, and they stumble across a sort of ancient Egyptian tomb, which is quite rare because most ancient Egyptian tombs are in Egypt, which suggests that this tomb had to be put whoever this tomb is kind of the resting place of. It's obviously someone quite evil because they wanted it as far away as possible, and it turns out it's Ahmanet, which is a princess played by Sofia Boutella, and she has been buried very, very, very deep into the ground as far away as possible because she had done a pact with evil, basically. And if she ever rises again, and if she reconnects with a very specific weapon, she can unleash that evil upon the world. So it's down to Nick and Chris, and also archaeologist Jenny Halsey, played by Annabelle Wallis, to try and prevent her from escaping and tearing shit up, basically.
It's a tough one. Now, obviously, this is part of a wider universe. Scott, do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, so Universal Pictures have jumped on the franchise bandwagon for an expanded universe, and they have brought together, or are going to bring together, all of their famous gods and monsters, as the poster would suggest. With The Mummy being the start, they've also announced the second film, which is Bride of Frankenstein, which is being released on Valentine's Day in 2019. Which should be fun. But also they've announced some of the casting for some of the other parts. So we've got Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. We've got Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster. Apparently they're going after quite a lot of big A-listers to join them. Dwayne Johnson's been linked to the Wolfman. That would be a big wolf. Jesus, you don't want to meet that wolf on a dark alley. But also they're looking at one of the, I think Alex Kurtzman, who's the director of The Mummy, and also one of the producers behind the Dark Universe, said they're aiming higher. So they're looking at people like Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Angelina Jolie's name has been linked to the Bride of Frankenstein as well. So they're doing this whole big kind of Marvel replication again with their dark monsters, which maybe they shouldn't have done because The Mummy hasn't particularly done very well at the box office so far, but the plan is to still do these, and the next one, as I say, is Bride of Frankenstein, which is being directed by Bill Condon, who did Beauty and the Beast. So that's the next one, and Twilight. So yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, The Mummy is obviously the jumping off point.
So The Mummy has been around a very long time, or the whole monsters universe has, with Wolfman and Frankenstein being part of one of the original Universal. It's basically what made Universal Pictures what it is. Not to this day, but back in the day, it established it as a reputable studio. So you can sort of understand why they are rebooting this. But it's a big shame that The Mummy has done so badly. Did it deserve to do so badly, Zehra? Was it a rubbish film?
It was a rubbish film. It was absolutely the script was and the storyline was so weak. It's transparent. They spent more effort in the CGI and bringing in the big names of Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe's than actually putting any effort into making it a story with any substance.
So you didn't mention who Russell Crowe plays. Who's he in this story?
He's Dr. Henry Jekyll. So we don't... He's slightly kind of underused. You can feel that he's part of this world building that Alex Kurtzman has kind of been obliged to do, which is actually part of the film's downfall, because it feels like the responsibility of setting up an entire world brings about some of the more tedious scenes, and you feel like it's too concerned with future projects. It doesn't focus on it as a sort of self-contained film. But I just think Universal made a huge mistake kind of tactically in terms of what film was going to kickstart this universe. Why The Mummy? The Mummy has just had a franchise that finished 15 years ago. When was the last time we saw Bride of Frankenstein? film, or a Wolfman film. That's something new and original that we would be like, oh Christ, it's been such a long time since we've seen a film like this. Audiences might want it. I had no intention at all to watch a Mummy movie again, not after how recent it was the Brendan Fraser trilogy kind of ended. So I just didn't feel like, it just felt like the wrong film to kickstart it. And also the thing I loved about the Mummy was the kind of original Mummy, is the kind of Indiana Jones puzzle breaking kind of aspects of it, going down in tombs and trying to work out all these puzzles and these riddles to try and get to the next level and stuff. I loved all that aspect. But in this, it's not even really in Egypt. The whole thing's in England. So there's no tombs, there's no puzzles, there's no these kind of like mythology kind of obstacles that they've got to kind of overcome and stuff like that. It just becomes quite a traditional survival flick, just set in England, of this kind of evil thing that's kind of roaming the streets, and they've all got to stop it. And it just, like, we've seen that a million times before. It didn't seem to play up to the aspects of the Mummy franchise, which actually I think make it quite kind of unique. It's a real shame, actually. A
studio like Marvel, it has the genius at the helm of Kevin Feige, who we're actually chatting to tomorrow, for Spider-Man. Do you think that they've just sort of rushed this a bit, and they haven't thought a huge amount about how this wider franchise is actually going to work?
Yes, I would agree. I completely agree with Stefan in the sense that this was probably the wrong movie to kind of kickstart the whole universe with. As you said, there's so many amazing Universal monster stories out there. Like the Invisible Man, for example. I haven't seen the Invisible Man film for a long time.
Even like if you get it's invisible.
Well, there's a funny joke for a Tuesday morning. But even the smaller ones, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, we haven't seen a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie for a while. Even a really good Dracula movie. I mean, I know there was the Luke Evans one a few years ago, which is probably why they stayed off of this one. I know obviously Stefan said the Wolfman, but they had a Wolfman, didn't they, with Benicio del Toro a few years ago? That
was massive.
Which was panned and everything else. So I guess the Mummy was the next logical thing. But I mean, if you have the hundreds of millions of dollars that they had, and you can't make a movie that's better than the original one with Brendan Fraser, which is great fun and has all the archaeological stuff and the adventure and all that kind of stuff in there, set in Egypt, in amongst all these tombs, as Stefan said, then I think already you're fighting a losing battle. And it seems like they had a Mummy film and then just kind of tagged on a Tom Cruise movie with it. I think when you get someone like Tom Cruise, he obviously said, we could do this stunt and we could do this stunt, and it's almost like it's a Mission Impossible movie around the Mummy, kind of, and it's a strange hybrid, and it just doesn't work. And no matter how hard Tom Cruise tries in this one, it really doesn't work, and it's a shame. And I'm not surprised that it's flopped with critics and with audiences. Although as with Tom Cruise, he's very big overseas, and the overseas box office is quite healthy, so they could see a decent return from the overseas markets rather than the US.
So the tone of the Brendan Fraser movies was really light, really fun, like family friendly. Is this one sort of quite a hard tone where it's not really funny? Is it quite a serious film?
Yeah, it's trying to be more, it's darker, it adopts more tropes from the horror genre, I'd say, than the last one was definitely a bit more sort of scrolls and kind of, sort of small like candles walking underneath these kind of packed kind of spaces, and even like the scarab beetles from the first film. It wasn't a scary scene, it was an enjoyable one, and this, it's trying to be more thrilling and more horror, which is a bit of a shame. But I mean, the set pieces actually in this movie are the best things about it. The zero gravity plane scene, and there's a scene where there's on a sort of London bus, and they look great, and they do look incredible. But I do agree about it kind of becoming a Tom Cruise movie rather than becoming a Universal Monsters universe movie. And I think with Tom Cruise, he's getting older and he's trying to look younger, and it's actually off-putting. And I just wish he'd do what like Liam Neeson did and actually use his age to enhance the characters he's playing, and actually play roles who are in their 50s or whatever, and have that as a vulnerability, and use the age as a kind of character device, and not be so embarrassed about it. It looks ridiculous when he takes his shirt off and he's got his dark hair and like his dyed hair, and it's kind of like obviously been to the gym loads, and he's trying to look about 25. He's not 25, and he needs to stop pretending he's 25, because as an action hero now, I'm just watching an old man pretending to be young, and it's actually not that enjoyable. Whereas if you watch something like Taken, you've got Liam Neeson using his age and sort of owning it. And I think that Tom Cruise would be a better action hero if he stopped pretending to be 15. And that's my rant.
Yeah, that's your rant over. Collateral, he did do that with Jamie Foxx, where he played Vincent, the assassin, or the hitman. That is such a great film, and that is one where Tom Cruise actually, he probably played a character older than he actually was at the time, I think. Zehra, have you seen that? Do you like that one?
I haven't seen it actually because
It's so good.
I'm not a fan of Cruise anyway.
Really?
So yeah, they're always the bottom of my list to see.
It is a good film. Scott, thoughts?
On Collateral,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's probably his best performance of the last 20 years in terms of a proper movie. Because all the other movies, as Stefan said, he's the action hero, and if it's not Mission Impossible, it's The Mummy, or he's doing Top Gun 2 now, which is just like, come on,
I still can't wait.
But if you look at his, yes, of course, I have that thing in me, but to see Top Gun 2. But if you look at his new movie, American Made, it looks like he's trying to do something that's not just a big action summer spectacular. It looks like he's found a quite fun character in that one. I think the trailer looks quite good. But yeah, I can't think of any other amazing performance of the level of Collateral that he's done in the last, was that 2004, last 15 years,
like that, a long time ago, wasn't it? Annabelle Wallis, from what I gather, is going to appear in all of these, the franchise. Is that true, Stefan?
Yep, I probably.
She said it on Graham Norton, anyway, so that's why I get my info from.
I mean, yeah, but she was good. I mean, look, it was another film where I don't think you can just sort of point the finger at any one person in particular. I think it had a burden of trying to build an entire world and open up loads and loads of doors, and I just don't think it succeeded. I think there was a good film in there. It just, I don't know, I think it was the wrong choice. The Mummy is the sort of film, it's a comfort movie. We know the Mummy franchise so well, we know the characters, that it's a comfort movie that should have been third or fourth into the franchise. I think they should have kickstarted with something a bit different, and then maybe we would have appreciated this Mummy a little bit more had it just been more self-contained and could focus on the actual story rather than thinking about what can bleed into future films. And it all felt like it was the whole thing was made up of little nods to the franchise, where I just wanted to see Sofia Boutella just kill people, basically.
And I guess because Russell Crowe plays Dr. Jekyll, we'll see him again in multiple other films.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will with him. He was definitely one of the characters that you could tell he didn't actually serve a huge purpose in this. I think he's in there to introduce him for future movies, because I'm sure he's about to play a big part. But Scott will probably know more about that than I do, because I don't know anything about franchises.
I think the plan is for him to have his own movie. If you look at that picture, I think he's on the far corner, isn't he? Which apparently the photo they weren't all even in the room together at the same time.
Which picture?
Photoshop. The one of Tom Cruise, Sofia Boutella, Johnny Depp.
Oh right, yeah.
Apparently they weren't in the same room at the same time together. So I don't know. But you get a small. It's not a spoiler because I think it's in some of the trailers. You get Russell Crowe's character is kind of the thing tease unto itself, in the sense that you see a very small segment of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, played by Ray Winston. Yeah, he's gonna have his own spin-off movie. I think he's a sort of character like Annabelle Wallis that could appear in some of the others as well. The Mummy might carry on. Spoilers, non-spoilers. It's out, isn't it, already? The Mummy,
yeah,
Mummy's already out
last week.
Yeah, so we can talk about it. So at the end of the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, bloody hell, that's a bit of a... Just jump right in with that.
I'm cutting
I've seen
out.
it.
You moron. I haven't seen it.
Oh no, I spoiled the franchise. Oh no, the whole franchise.
I'm cutting that out.
You've heard it. It doesn't matter.
You did.
You've heard it.
You can't unhear that, Dave.
No. What?
Can't unhear that. Sorry, I didn't. I thought you'd seen it. Sorry.
I haven't seen it. Never mind. So there you go. That's our thoughts on The Mummy. Do let us know what you think if you've seen it or when you've seen it. Did it live up to expectations? Was it rubbish? Do you think it could ruin the entire Dark Universe? Or do you think that actually it will fit in nicely? Let us know in the comments below. And yeah, as always, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever the other one I haven't mentioned is, YouTube. And we will see you next time on The Mouth Off. Take care all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop.
Gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,